upper bracket lives on the line have to find that win to force a game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be a fun game number 2. Hopefully we can force it to a game 3, though we will find out very, very soon, as we are going to head into game number 2 between CDEC and Xtreme Gaming. John, I haven't asked you the hard question today, so I'm going to ask you for this game 2 of the second series. Who has the better draft in your opinion?
Better draft. I'd actually lean slightly towards CDEC. I think the Razor versus Troll matchup's just not going to be fun for Low. Although they look to be ready for a lane switch. Low might head down bot, and that could rectify a lot of the laning issues. Rather even across the board, outside of that one very scary thing for Xtreme to worry about. I think just Razor versus Troll, it's not something you want. Outside of it, much more even. I think Monkey King pause 1 fares a lot better for QAQ. Scales a lot better as well. And it should give him more presence in these fights as well.
Mid lane, 7E, playing around here. He's under vision, DY. He go forward. Sentry Ward only catches another Sentry Ward. 7E. He's going to cop a tower hit for this one. He'll be okay with it though. He'll just passively regen that up. Another Sentry place. This time not going to catch the other Observer Ward either. So neither side actually able to catch each other's Observer Wards. There you go. Just a very even start between these two. A 2-for-1 trade, 2-for-2 trade, excuse me, on the bounties. My Australian math not too good today, Jonathan. And with that, let's start off perhaps with the bot lane. We'll go to the bot lane. No, we're going mid. We're going mid lane. 7E. He's going to be up against Paparazzi on the Lina. Pango versus Lina matchup, John. Not very fun for the Pango.
Yeah, you still kind of have the same issues as you saw up against the SF. Maybe a kill opportunity is a little bit harder for Paparazzi to find. It's not like you have grazes to slow and you're not that obnoxious with your spell spam. But you still have this really good range advantage coming out for Paparazzi. It's still not going to be so smooth for a 7E to clear out the creep wave himself. And it should just be smooth going. I think we've got to see that activity out from CDEC in the laning phase. Minute 6 is when you'd really want that for the water, for the power runes, and if you can do that around the level 5 timing of 7E, you should be able to slow down Paparazzi by a good amount with your supports here.
Yeah, have a look at the side lanes as well while we have a chance. Bottom lane, of course, PYW on that Earth Spirit once again, along with Low on the Troll, as they are going to make the jump in with the rebound. You haven't got Dispose up yet, Imitator. Just trying to secure some creeps and get a bit of harassment out onto PYW and Low. And unlike the last game where you had the Death Prophet Earth Spirit lane, I don't believe the Troll Earth Spirit is quite as strong of a laning duo, so it still has some decent kill potential, but when you're up against a Razor and a Marcy who can just kind of jump out with rebound, chances are you're probably not going to find the kills you want.
No, definitely not. I mean, you can be aggressive. I think the key thing they're looking for is actually something more defensive. You always have this little bit of a kick back if the Razor does decide to run around with the static link. So you've got a little bit of a pseudo save for Low, not to be under constant threat from the Razor, which again is a lane that Low tries to avoid. They do match.
Nice shards out onto DY, making sure he can't continue the chase onto QAQ. That is our last side lane, of course. Old 11 and DY against Undyne and QAQ on the Monkey King. Of course, QAQ last game around on the Clinks had a decent enough time farming, but it just didn't transition on the hero he was playing. This time on the Monkey King, I'd say it's much more timing, less timing reliant. Just, you know, it's more like your standard pos one. Just get the farm going. Eventually, you will be able to outscale the side of Xtreme Gaming and maybe be able to carry this game number 2.
Yeah, it can build up a lot better. It's not as sensitive, although you would still kind of want to match the tempo. You do not want to see yourself fall too far behind, especially if Low decides to go for the Battle Fury build here. The Monkey King kind of needs to match that scaling on the Troll. You are at the least not completely bullied out, but this is still a lane that Old 11's finding a lot more out of, and that is a sign of concern. I think the big issue is that in their Tusk combination so far from CDEC, it's been with melee heroes, which again, it's not the end of the world, but you're not really able to connect and threaten with tag team as often because it's very telegraphed. The moment you see the Tusk or someone walking up, it's just you run back.
A lot of damage being dealt now to PYW, which is fine. Meanwhile, the Tusk top lane was also in trouble, and Undyne going to be able to remove himself from that situation and salve himself up, so happy days for him. No kills across the board quite yet. No first blood being drawn. You look back over to that mid lane for a moment, and Paparazzi's been having a very good game on the Lina, and it's kind of to be expected, right? But he's already 10 CS ahead of the Pango, and with a play like Paparazzi, when you're in this kind of meta where the mid lane can just carry the game for you, and you have a play like Paparazzi who tends to like to do that anyway, it's a bit of a scary predicament.
Yeah, it is. 7E does manage to snag away an additional water rune, so he's fully topped up, and Paparazzi's starting to lag a little bit behind, which is some good news. Way better rune control coming out from 7E. That should allow him some leeway, although Paparazzi just has a free lane, farming up. Still poking and prodding across the lanes. Still no kill opportunities presenting itself, but I want to say this passive game actually does benefit Xtreme. You might argue otherwise because you do have the Earth Spirit, but you are finding that farm and the levels you want on your DP, on your Troll, and even though you're laning up against the Razor here for low, he's still well protected enough that you don't mind. The farm is there. He is in the top 3 in CS. All heroes from Xtreme are in that top 3.
First blood yet to be drawn. Maybe mid lane. Rebound is in. Oh, it barely connects onto Paparazzi. This could be the one, though. A nice light strike array connecting onto the Fairy Fire Eater. Now PYW, he'll show up. The shield crash. It's not going to be enough. 7, he's in trouble. He'll try to run. He'll be just fine. Oh, very close call as 7E still having a look around. We'll turn on to PYW, but it's top lane where the action's happening. QAQ ends up dropping. PYW, he'll go down now, but it's not going to be the first blood bonus. 7E, he'll still take it. But they end up losing the first blood over at the top lane.
Yeah, they lose out in their core Monkey King as well. And that is not good news here for QAQ. Again, it's just a very passive lane that comes out top. They can't really play around with the Tusk as much as you'd expect. Paparazzi gets saved from that movement by PYW. Really good stall outs coming out from our Earth Spirit once more. And this time around, with level 6 approaching for Paparazzi, I mean, he's going to have a kill opportunity lined up. 7E is not too far behind in EXP though, so the threat of Rolling Thunder is going to be there as well. And they're actually just keeping more heroes mid. They drag in Undyne, bottle top up out, although his inventory was full. No bottle refill for 7E.
Unlucky, 7E. Not going to be happy with the support, Jonathan. I mean, look, to be fair, as a support player, we've all done it. Let me tell you, your mid laner has a few words for you if you miss out on the bottle refill. Every time, without a doubt, they always have something to say. Top lane, old 11. To get jumped on, has the Spirit Siphons available. So he's going to be able to slowly heal up through it. Nice shots to block him in, but he's full HP. Boundless not even going to connect here from QAQ. Only onto the creep wave. So hard against the Death Prophet, and that's kind of the reason why you lane like this. If you are the side of Xtreme Gaming, just Tusk jumps you, who cares? I just Spirit Siphon and walk away.
Down bot, a bit of a roll.
Jump in onto the Razor, but you're not going to have the follow-up. Slow is there, low, he will move his way back in. They've still got some bonus damage here from the Razor. Slow, does keep trying, but as the Troll just really doesn't have the damage at this point to really be able to harass the Razor out.
Yeah, a bit optimistic coming out. That is forcing the side of CDEC to use their spells defensively, which I think is key. They don't want offensive rebounds into the Dispost. They're forcing them to use that to break off the jump in from PYW, which leads to no threat onto low. So he just gets the farm. He doesn't care, and that's an interesting way to run that lane. Forced aggression to make the enemy team defensive and not allow them to be offensive, even though you're not looking for kills yourself.
QAQ, Boundless is going to be there onto the DP, so old 11 can't keep the chase going. DY just doesn't have enough slow to really hold back QAQ. 1-to-1, very slight net worth lead the way of Xtreme Gaming. I'd like to point your attention once again towards Paparazzi here on the laner, John. Still basically free farming this whole game. His Imitator is going to try and fight him over a power rune. He won't get the power rune, but Paparazzi, he will go for a man fight. Disarm, oh, it's not going to happen. He didn't have the lucky shot skilled up. So Paparazzi just going to hide in this tree line, try to juke him out, but does get stunned eventually. 7E, you can't get into that corner. Or maybe he can, but now on the low ground. 7E just not getting lucky whatsoever. At least he does have a haste rune. But Paparazzi just too tanky with the raindrop charges that were there. And yeah, I mean, you get the haze screen for the Pango. Paparazzi, he'll take a kill. I think he's still happy on that Lena.
Yeah, you'd really rather the kills anyway. You want that farm, you want that early XP. Paparazzi going for a bit of a different build from the Linus we have seen. Falcon Blade into Power Treads. Forced to rotate bot here with DY though.
He's going to turn around onto Imitator. Roll, PYW, once again, right on target, into the geomagnetic grip. Imitator, he'll go for a rebound back the way of Low and does secure a kill. Very manly move here by Imitator to just jump right back in, realizing he was dead, but he makes the trade well worth it for his side.
That's a heads-up play coming out from Imitator. It does allow him to get a lot more from that engage, and you are slowing down Low by a good amount. He is still ahead of your Monkey though, but not by a huge margin. And you are in a much more even start here for CDEC to play with. No overwhelming lead, no one lane that's really going badly for CDEC, just finding the trades across the board. Bit of a smoke out here from 7E onto top. Old 11 was left alone for quite a fair bit of time. Might not be able to escape that as they do get bot.
Yeah, Razor's gone. They're going to try and trade up a top lane, but Old 11, he knows. Too many heroes missing off the map. He knows something's wrong. He'll just hang around the tree line at the top tier 1 and just survive. They can't jump him. That's a lot of wasted time here for CDEC. They lost their Razor as well, and again, the Xtreme Gaming, they're just casually farming. Very, very happy right now on the direct.
Just building up. BKB being built up next by Paparazzi. Same thing goes here. Actually, a shift out for Low, going for the Battlefield, realizing they could go for a slower game. QAQ is going on to the Maelstrom. So you will have that farm disparity coming up once the Battlefield for Low is up. You will outfarm the Monkey King, because the Monkey King, I mean, he can farm the Maelstrom, but it certainly isn't as quick. You do have the mobility on QAQ, but whether or not he actually does just want to sit back and farm is a different story. He's still left in this solo DP lane that they can't fully clear out. Smoke out from CDC down bot though.
They're going to try. Rolling Thunder is there. Low, he'll be targeted, but is going to outrun them. Instead, they'll try to focus down DY, but the Overgrowth is going to lock them down for at least a little bit. Chase is still going. PYW trying to help with the silence, and now the roll back in. They're going to try and force the fight. Low, he's there with the Battle Trance, but no, he doesn't get it off in time. Dispose is there, but he does eventually get it. Low, is he going to survive through this? Magnetize, it has been refreshed, but Low is going to drop. In comes Old 11. He'll join the team fight. Onto the Razor they go. The Spirit Siphons all over the place. PYW again setting up a perfect team fight. One of those things about Earth Spirit, John, you don't want to fight if that Magnetize just keeps going. And PYW, eventually he does die, but these prolonged fights, it's the ES dream.
Yeah, he's just landing it over and over again in this game once more, and that is spectacular performance out from PYW. He is sacrificing himself much more, but he's setting up for his team. They still lose Low, still a pretty big blow for Xtreme Gaming, as that will stall out his Battlefield time once more, but you're slowing down Razor, you're not allowing him to hit his own BKB timing all too fast, and you are getting some space out. There is room up top for QAQ now to get a push going for himself. He does have the Javelin on hand, so a little bit more damage if he does run into Hero now as well. DY trying to slow down as much as possible with living armor, but it doesn't look like Xtreme will want to force an issue up top with most of your spells down.
That'll be the top tier 1 tower to go down. Xtreme Gaming. PYW around. It's top lane. We'll see the shards fly out. They've got vision with the Observer Ward as well, so PYW, he could find Imitator here. Just needs his team to be able to back him up, but won't bother trying to roll in yet. Instead, there is QAQ. He's the biggest target. Not revealing himself on that creep wave, however, so he's going to be okay. Seems like CDEC. CDEC actually tries to maybe go on to Old 11 here on the DP, but that's a very risky move. We've seen this before, like without a few more heroes, the DP just going to heal up every time. QAQ now re-showing on the creep wave, so now PYW shows up. Roll. Oh, it's barely off the mark. QAQ with a very, very quick tree jump. Does make it out. And it looks like they've seen enough here. CDEC, they'll back out.
Just not going to waste any more time when CDEC doesn't want to quite play in that area. Smoke out here from the side of Xtreme. See if they find something off the back of this. Not quite spotted by anything. I don't think they were in that ward range in the jungle. They should have a good vantage point. No one in the triangle though, so maybe a wrap around behind up top could be the way to go.
Undyne. Right into Core 11 and Exorcism popped, just in case. Right into the tier 1 mid tower. You get a kill. The Tusk has no buyback anyway. Not that you'd want to commit it this early. Get forced into the tier 1 mid. But how do you defend now? Like with Exorcism up, I don't think you can force this fight. Maybe they can find Paparazzi. Rolling Thunder's there. Paparazzi going to cop one stun. Unleash doing a lot of work. He will go for a Light Strike Array. Almost down and eventually will drop. And now the Overgrowth is going to connect. So Imitator will go down. 7E going to try to run onto the high ground with the Swashbuckle. But PYW right on the chase is going to punish him for the Paparazzi kill. It's still going to be a good trade for Xtreme. They get the tier 1. They get the mid lane. They get a support. And all they lose is Paparazzi.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's still a core Lina that wants to kind of play as a character from mid, but I like the itemization from Paparazzi. It means that he's not as constrained as, say, the traveled BKB Lina, because he has a little bit more throughput with the Power Treads, with the Falcon Blade into the BKB. He's not going to be able to chase around as much, he's not going to be able to work the map as much, but that does mean you can give room now to Low to play with his own Battle Fury, which is flying out now. 15 minutes in, considering that he was laning against a Razor, this is pretty damn good, and he is number 2 in net worth, so the investment is starting to build up. You do have the full Maelstrom up in QAQ, but this is when CDEC needs to punish that greed. Because Low going for the Battle Fury is very unprotected. You know, there's not much play he can get done, even if he pops Battle Trance, and he should try to run that down here.
DY. Move in with the Nature's Grasp, but don't go for too much more than that. Comes QAQ, just keeping tabs on where Xtreme Gaming are going, as they're going to try and focus down that mid-tier 1 tower. A couple hero pickoffs would make it a lot easier, but it seems like DY and Low have realized the Monkey King was kind of just stalking them in the tree line. Still a big group up mid lane, but Xtreme Gaming, they are kind of prepared to defend this. Only person missing in that mid lane right now is Old 11, who does have Exorcism back up in 15 seconds, and he's going to join his team. 10 seconds away from the ulti being up. This could be a really bad team fight to start. Low is going to get jumped straight away. He does have Battle Trance available, but has not popped it. And is going to drop. Still Paparazzi. Does at least find Imitator, but it's a decent trade for CDEC. They will try to make an escape, and should be able to do so.
And that's what we want to see from CDEC, right? Like, you see the troll with Battle Fury, you know he's not going to be ready. You jump him straight away, just punish. Xtreme not quite ready. They did have a ward on their outpost, so they might have had info, but that was a smoke play out from CDEC, and they catch Low by surprise. So, nice play from them, 60-11. Paparazzi with the BKB, though, does become a concern, because he can just stand his ground and fight an old 11.
Snowball to get away. Undyne doesn't want to be here, but doesn't know which way to go. Very panicky situation there from the Tusk. Just up and down, even pops the tumblers just the other way. Xtreme Gaming still holding on to that mid-tier 1 tower. The 7E trying to be as annoying as possible in the Pango and just chip away at Paparazzi's HP pool. Not really going to scare him off too much. Obviously, you want to hold that tier 1 mid tower, considering you do have a Battle Fury troll. Thing was with that last engagement as well, like, Low did have a split second where he could have popped his ulti. So he just got maybe a little bit greedy, hoping to use it after the Boundless. 7E. Gonna blink out in time on the Pango. He'll be just fine. And it's all about the mid-tier 1, but they'll know that the Exorcism is up, and you might find the mid-tier 1 tower, but if it costs you your whole team, it's not going to feel very worth here for the side of CDEC. Tower is getting healed up while all this is happening, very slowly but surely. PYW going to show up. We'll roll up back towards the high ground.
What have we here?
Exorcism already popped here from our DP. They were trying to hunt somebody down. So I suppose the Radiant side, you just kind of wait for that ulti to be over and go in. PYW, though, he's going to try and force a fight. He does go into Imitator, but Imitator's still just perfectly fine. As he does get himself out, and PYW is the one to drop. In they go for more. DY, he'll pop the overgrowth, but 7E is still going to be just fine as DY somehow is still alive, but eventually the shield crash will get it done. Problem is 7E. He gets the train kill, but it costs him his own life.
Yeah, it's a big trade. 2 supports for that mid Pangolier, and you still protect your mid tier 1. So Xtreme Gaming finds what they want. It costs them a few more bodies, but they hold on to the objective for a little bit longer, and the side of CDEC not feeling confident anymore and kind of trying to clear that out without the Pango's presence are forced to kind of get back. BKB was popped as well on Xiang Yu, so not going to have that ready for, say, a follow-up engagement here. And it gets a little bit awkward because CDEC needs that mid gone. As you mentioned, you've got a troll with a Battle Fury here, Mike. You cannot allow that farm to come out. They've been trying, but the defense from Xtreme Gaming has been pretty on point here.
Mid lane, more pings coming out here from CDEC, but they're not in really a position to try and force the mid tier 1. It's just so sad, right? Like, you're just watching the tower get healed up constantly by DY. You know there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, maybe in 10 minutes the tower will just melt anyway, but it's just going to be so heartbreaking. It's Q, A, Q. Barely able to prime string out of the tree line, but PYW is not giving up.
Oh.
He's found the Monkey King, but can he follow up? Not quite. He'll go south, and the Monkey King goes up north. Meanwhile, mid lane, the push starts, but the fortification is there. Paparazzi is going to be around to try and help defend this. Tier 1 tower is slowly dropping. In comes DY, though. He'll threaten with the overgrowth, and that'll force them back. The max living armor, John, you give plus 12 bonus armor to the tower. It just takes no damage.
It really doesn't, and that's, what, the second attempt CDC has had trying to run it down mid. Bit of a Shadow Blade play here. Not going to be able to catch out. It's a lot of commitment from CDEC. Like, again, they understand the importance of that tower. So does Xtreme Gaming. And their execution on that defense is just a lot stronger here. They're splitting them up a lot more on CDEC's end. And they're stalling the game. Like, your Lena's growing big. A bit of a chase.
7E going to go for a bit of a run. Lau had the battle trance, but not getting lucky with any ensnares before the Rolling Thunder came out. A little bit unfortunate for him. Still, considering he's been able to free farm now, he is second in net worth only to his own Lena. So things are going, again, very, very well for Xtreme Gaming. CDEC, I mean, there is going to be a 3-man smoke. They know the troll was around the bottom side of the map somewhere. They could hang out, like go up towards the triangle of the Dire, but a very nice scan. They know the battle trance isn't there, so Low, he's still sticking around, maybe trying to bait. This is a very risky bait though, but he has the BKB. Imitator, he'll be the one to get caught, and now the roll forward, PYW, he'll force the BKB out from our Razor. Exorcism popped immediately, roll forward, but the BKB TP out should be enough and will be. Roll forward again.
Whoa.
Undyne, not going to connect. PYW, he will leave it at that.
Still a nice pick off to get that with CDEC smoking out for that one, and they're the ones to lose a hero. They are buying some space out for QAQ to find build-up, but with the Exorcism pop, they could reasonably go for Roche, although it does look like Xtreme might want to, just play it safe. Don't force the issue. Respawns are short. The Rolling Thunder is back up if 7E does want to make a play into that pit, so just a little bit more defensive. 8-13, 5k lead for Xtreme still stands though. And it just feels like as long as the mid-tier 1 is still alive, CDEC is not going to be able to gap close that net worth. Like, they just can't stop the jungle farm. They can't stop how fast Paparazzi and Low build up on their respective heroes. And they've just been bashing their heads against the wall. Still maybe a bit of a run in here up top.
CDEC, they're still very hesitant to move on to that high ground. QAQ in terms of farm, like he's going to be KB up with the Maelstrom, but he won't be feeling too confident right now. They'll move into the Roshan pit anyway, with the Wukong's command and the BKB. And in fact, I don't believe Xtreme Gaming necessarily know this Roshan's happening yet. Things are coming out, but it doesn't seem like they're aware. Roshan just freely being taken by CDEC, and nobody's gonna stop them. Wow. What a sneak attack on the Roshan.
No wards from Xtreme Gaming to watch that area. Probably just figuring everyone's hanging in the jungle or the triangle. And a nice little play out from CDEC. Secondary life ready to go on QAQ along with his BKB. So he's feeling good now in the monkey. Fairly well. Very, very well defended now. But it just doesn't feel like you're meeting the item parity. 6k lead at 24 minutes in. Might not be the biggest in the world. It is enough to have this kind of build up. Paparazzi, full silver red shop. He hits like a truck. Like, you do not want to mess with that. Lena, double damage on hand as well for Paparazzi. So if they do manage to run in onto someone who is on their own, unfortunately, you can just clean up quite fast. CDC, I think the onus is on them here. Like, you have the Aegis, you've got that BKB on QAQ. You guys are the ones who have to figure out what you want to do. And that mid-tier 1, Mike, they leave it alone that long, it's back to 1k HP. So if you want to go on that, this is probably your best chance with the Aegis.
Yeah, it certainly is. They are going to chill out for a moment, though, and just, you know, allow themselves a bit more time to farm. So QAQ is working on towards an Eye of Skadi, so you need a bit of time for that. Like you said, though, I mean, you've got the Aegis in hand. You've got to be the one to try and initiate something for your side. CDEC for now. Just sit back and keep that farm going. Maybe that's just why you want the Roshan anyway, because you know that if you take the Roshan, Xtreme Gaming can't go for it themselves, and that way you're kind of safe knowing that there's going to be no objective taking. Though I say that, roll in mid lane, they have found the Marcy, PYW locking him down, doing it again with the secondary roll and finding a beautiful kill onto Imitator. I do appreciate the PYW item build up as well. Like, you see a lot of Earth Spirits rushing Urn into Vessel, but he goes for the Yules so he can set up the double roll and hold them down long enough for his team to catch up. It's a nice item build for Earth Spirit for sure.
Yeah, he's just enabling his team to follow through whenever he does move up. A little bit of a sneak around there, as we had a bit of a chase come out, but not quite being finished up by low. Smoke out, though, on Xtreme. Should be looking for a move. Like, if they manage to get a kill onto a tier 2, and that's up against a team with Aegis, and they're the ones that might potentially lose objectives if they're not careful. Not a good sign for CDEC.
Absolutely not.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
There's a group up mid lane. CDEC, it just seems like they're just trying to protect their Razor for now. You're looking at Low, excuse me. He's just free farming on this roll. He's having a great time. Battle Fury going, of course. SNY being built up, even going for a blink straight after. CDEC, they're going to try for this mid-tier 1 tower push once again. We'll see if they can get it done this time. Again, that bonus armor from the living armor, very annoying for these right-click kind of cores. And in we go. Roll is there. PYW, he's found the POS 1 Monkey King straight off the bat. Overgrowth is out. Lock them down and just annihilate them. Aegis is gone. The Monkey King left behind. QAQ, I mean, he's popped the BKB. He'll try for the Wukongs. It's not going to matter. PYW, in the meantime, he was trying to catch more, but he does get taken out by our Razor. But what do you care? 3 for 1 in the favor of Xtreme Gaming, and they don't even lose the mid-tier 1 tower.
They don't lose the mid-tier 1, they take the Aegis, they can find a kill, they could go for a move on to the tier 2, but decide to play it safe. Creep wave is still fairly far out. 9 to 17, 7k lead coming out here for the side of Xtreme. And CDEC, they need to find a way to just leverage their items, right? It felt like they waited too long on the Aegis use. They clump up mid once more. There was ample time for Xtreme to go for the defense play once more. And yeah, you've got this Basher Monkey King, that's nice and all, but it's just not enough. You aren't at the point where you're massive.
YW, another roll. No, he's got the Yules. In we go again. He's just setting up everything, this man. You can't... Honestly, after game 1, I thought they would respect his Earth Spirit. They did not. And he is punishing them once again. Mid, Paparazzi, he'll cop a Walrus Punch. That's about it, though. Still perfectly fine. Paparazzi, just no fear in the world.
still very, very, very much relevant here, Paparazzi. I mean, he's still growing. He's still got a lot of room to grow. That's what I'm trying to say. Satanic's still on the way. He's going to be able to hold his own in the middle of these fights. The Basher from Monkey is still a very good foil to that if you can kind of gap close and just chain proc that somehow. But you also have to worry about low. I mean, that blink you mentioned is already up on our troll here, Mikey. He's got the Titan Sliver as well. Sanj not too far off for the Sanj and Yasha. All the stat resists you could possibly ask for. Locking him in before you can get Battle Trance is now a very, very tall challenge for the side of CDEC. And it just feels like this line of CDEC is really geared towards like a mid-game spike. You've got Pango, you've got Razor. There is some scaling on hand, but it felt like the first 15 minutes with this kind of tricore should have been in CDEC's hands. Ideally, that's when these heroes are at their best. And now you're approaching the half hour mark where Lina or Troll, where we start to approach the later parts of the game, these heroes just grow stronger and stronger, and your solution just becomes harder and harder to execute.
That it does, John. That certainly does. Can I just say, by the way, I really like this Ogre's Hill totem thing on the Earth Spirit. It just, more mobility. If I hold that thought, because bot lane, there is going to be a fight to break out. DY is around with the overgrowth, but they're trying to burst him down immediately on the trade, and will do so. Now they've got the DP, and they take him out as well. Paparazzi forced to BKB and try to TP out, but does not make
the bash!
it. They get a bash out. Great team fight this time for CDEC. They take down 3 for nothing. And they do protect that T2 bottom tower as PYW is still on the run. Might make it. Looks like he will.
Man, just a little bit disconnected there for Xtreme this time around. They did not have PYW around to scout for it and to start that fight for them. It was CDEC that took initiative. And that allows them to, again, line up for mid. No living armor to worry about just yet. Respawns are coming out, but they've got the siege group to help. And shouldn't take them too long to finally get rid of that objective. So to even out the map a little bit more, 12 to 18, 5k lead still standing for Xtreme, but the bite is coming back for CDEC. They're showing us some of that fight that they can still pull off. It is still harder to find those circumstances where CDEC looks good. I think Xtreme, if they just stick as 5 or they stick around in the same area of the map, then their lineup just, it's so hard to kill off, especially if Low is around to cop a lot of those spells and just pop the Battle Trance. You're gonna have to try make a choice with a static link here from Shengyu and just hold him back, sap away the damage. But that leaves openings for Paparazzi, so a lot of back and forth choices there. For Xtreme Gaming, I think it might be almost time that they start to play around next Exo, look for an objective to take, and start to clear out a little bit more before next Roche, which will be a 2-minute 40-second respawn there, Mike. So a longer timer in Roche on this time around.
Certainly is. I wonder who that favors with that longer timer. Group up here in the Dire Jungle, Xtreme. Be there in Radiant Triangle. We'll see CDEC grouping up as well. So both teams, obviously they don't know what Roshan timer is, what the Roshan timer is, so they'll hang around the Roshan pit for now, maybe hoping for an early respawn. Satanic up in the meantime on Paparazzi now, so a lot more sustain for the Lina. Meanwhile, QAQ still trying to work on towards that Eye of Skadi. If he got the Basher before he ended up finishing that Eye of Skadi, so kind of explains why it's taking so long. Also a BKB up now on Imitate, so very nice item timings coming from both sides. But it does seem like Xtreme might be the ones to pop their smoke first and try to force a fight. Oh, even a refresher orb now, Jonathan on the Razor. This could be perfect timing for CDEC to try and counter smoke if they wish. And they will. We've got a smoke on smoke situation. Who jumps in first? Low. He'll frontline for now. PYW, he'll take over. Single file formation up towards the Radiant Triangle. 7E, he's in position to break the smoke. PYW, he'll be spotted immediately with the roll in. Like a Giga Chat, he does not care. He'll move. Imitator with the BKB already getting blown up. Now the overgrowth. Hold down the Pangolier and take him out. Still they'll go for more though. Paparazzi in big trouble on that Lina. Will drop, but so will Undyne. It's still a positive trade for Xtreme Gaming, but they may need to back their way out as CDEC, they're trying to smother them right now, but in goes Low on the Razor. They want the big one, and they might just have him. He is just getting annihilated here by the side of Xtreme Gaming. Onto the Monkey King, they found QAQ. It just doesn't end. A dieback to come out, an ultra kill for the side of Old 11. Only one man survives. And I say he survives, John, it was a buyback from the Pango. So in reality, a full team wipe for Xtreme Gaming, and they only drop Paparazzi.
That's just outstanding execution coming out from Xtreme this time. Very nice and patient with the smoke. Good angles to kind of break that smoke as well onto the high ground, where they're patting from the lower ramp down south. And that should give them the opportunity for a little bit of a shove. Roshan only a few seconds away. Big objectives for Xtreme to take. For CDEC, they just couldn't get aggressive enough with that smoke. They also managed to pop the refresh use on their Razors. Xiangye doesn't manage to really get the double static link he wants, runs out of mana, and when he ran out of mana, that's when Low went in. He understood, without the threat of static link, nothing can really stop him from just hammering onto people.
It's insane performance here once again. Xtreme Gaming now 14k ahead, and Roshan's gonna spawn. Why is there a gem in the Roshan pit? Who's just chilling there? Wonder who left that one there, John? We'll never know.
Curious choice. It looks like DY's actually, because when he picks it up, there's no owner. So I'm assuming it's DY. It's kind of ensure that they know when Roche is back up. Shards onto old 11. Paparazzi with the Aegis, knowing that he's probably just much more susceptible to dying than the Troll is at this point. And now they can start clearing out some tier 2s. Heck, I think they could even go for the high ground. There's just not much high ground depth from CDEC, at least not until something like the Ags comes out for Undyne, which is sort of a pipe dream at this point.
They've got the scan out as well. They know exactly where CDEC are at the moment, John. This is a really, really nasty position for the Radiant. Luckily, they are in their own jungle, though, and they do have a very nice observer ward on the high ground. Xtreme, they're not going to go into unventured territory. Instead, they'll hang around at the bot lane, start pushing in that tier 2 bottom tower. And you can certainly look towards the high ground straight after. All skills and ultis are up. In fact, nothing's on cooldown right now for Xtreme Gaming. The same could be said for CDEC, but the problem is if you get the initiation you're looking for as Xtreme, we've seen how fast they can blow people up. And all it takes is overgrowth from DY. If he gets a big overgrowth off, it's really hard to fight back, especially when Paparazzi's just nailing into you. Still, they found the Troll. Oh boy, Low gets caught with his pants down. BKB pop. Battle Trance is available. He needs to pop it. Overgrowth is there. It'll buy him the time. He's still got a chance. He'll fight back. Low just going right onto the Marcy, and now CDEC, they're the ones in trouble. They'll lose Low, however. This Razor is going to BKB TP out. Instead, they'll find 70 on the mid Pango. That's a dieback. QAQ going to try and fight back with the Wukong's command, but old 11 looking to man up. We'll try to back off now. Imitator, he's the one back in onto the Marcy, but he is down as PYW. Not done yet. Onto the Monkey King. Still dive right back out. On to old 11, who just dives right into the fountain, it seems like. Onto QAQ, but he's still alive. The Crypt Swarm. Oh, he walked back into the Crypt Swarm.
Oh, no. Oh, man. You know what this kind of move reminds me of, Mike? This reminds me of the classic Indonesian Dota play. Dive tier 2, dive tier 3, dive tier 4, and find some kills. And the difference is it's working here. They weren't punished. They managed to get some kills. I mean, they drop a couple of heroes here and there, but Paparazzi just looks like a scary demon right now. And they did lose out in the Troll earlier, but I feel like if you did have that around, it would have been really big.
You gotta say, like, this Troll, he is waiting a long time to pop Battle Trance every fight. He had some trust in DY to make it in time. I mean, he was one hit away from dying, and that overgrowth came in clutch.
Yeah, they're playing on Razor's Edge, and this dies. It pans out. Again, they drop a couple of heroes to sacrifice, but they force out Fortify. Although that will be refreshed with a tier 3 take, as none have felt yet. But you managed to find the kills you'd want, especially onto that Monkey King. And yeah, you've got this 21k lead. And now CDEC, I mean, they need some good plays. They need some good pickoffs. Whenever they see Xtreme kind of declumped, that's where they shine. And we've seen that a couple of times. They see these opportunities to find kills. They find them. Xtreme starts to look a little bit lost, but they haven't done that often enough.
They have not. Group up once again, Xtreme. They've got the Aegis for another minute and a half. They can keep this going, and they might just into the Radiant Triangle they go. Oh boy. They lost their Mystic Staff, I believe, for the Razor, and that's the build up to his side device, and now they found 7E on that mid Pango. Silence is there. No BKB is available for the Pango, but a nice snowball. It's going to buy a bit of time for now as they make the jump in. Low, still on. The Pango is gone now as they do move in to Low, trying to find that troll waller, but Low, he still has the ulti available, and Paparazzi, look at this man go right to work. In goes PYW onto QAQ. The BKB slowly about to wear off, but a nice balance. It's just not gonna matter. So much damage, and now the fountain dives once again. Is it gonna pay off this time? Well, they'll lose old 11, but it doesn't matter, John. They want a GG call. They want this game to be over. It is not coming, but there's only one buyback. There's no defense to come. They're onto the tier 4s.
Yeah, they understand on Xtreme side just what they've achieved already. Tier 4 is not going to reset the Fortify here. Last chance. Only the Marcy spawning up anytime soon, and what a troll. This doesn't stop.
There's no chance. They're just not calling it. They are not calling the GG. PYW just playing with him. There you go. There's the GG call. Maybe hoping for a miracle to happen, but sadly he's not here, John. Xtreme Gaming, they will proceed through to the upper bracket final here against RNG, and what a series it was. Xtreme Gaming, another 2-0 victory. What can you say, John? I suppose if everyone 2-0s each other, one of them's going to get upset in the grand final, and there you go. Xtreme Gaming just showing their dominance here.
Yeah, they play extremely well up against CDEC.
Oh, very